Hi, I'm Bob, and in this video I want to show you Excel's Xlookup function. Now, the Xlookup function will let you use Excel kind of as a mini database, and you can query information from a data set. It replaces the older Hlookup and Vlookup functions. If you don't know them, don't worry, you don't have to for this video. But the Xlookup function I think is easier to use and it's more powerful. It even has built-in error correction. So if you need to go and extract data from an Excel sheet, this video is for you. Let's go take a look. Here is a typical classic example of where we might use the Xlookup function. We have a list of orders that people are placing, and we see each row is a different order, and each order has a unique order number. And then there's information like the name, the state that they're in, variety, and some numeric information. Now, up on top, we have this little table. And what we want to do is, in the first cell of this table, is plug in an order number that exists in this list. And when we do, the Xlookup function that we put in 4 times down this table will extract this information: last name, variety, pounds, and sale. Before we start typing away, let's look at the syntax and see how the function is going to work. So we're going to say equals Xlookup, open the parenthesis, and the first argument is the lookup value. So in this example, the lookup value is going to be a specific order number. That means every row in this data set has to have a unique order number. Otherwise, the thing isn't going to work because Excel won't know one row from another. And when it finds that lookup value, when it finds that order number, it's going to associate all of the other fields in that current row with that order number. And that's really how the whole function is going to work. Anyway, the second argument is the lookup array, and in this example, the lookup array is that order number range. Now, if you're familiar with the older Xlookup and Vlookup functions, right off the bat, you can see that this is new, this is different. Because in the older functions, that lookup array column absolutely had to be the first column in a list, or else the function isn't going to work. But with Xlookup, it doesn't matter. You could have that column anywhere you want in the list. Third argument is the return array. So now that we know what order number it is, what row it is, what do we want the lookup function to return to us? We want to return, let's say, the last name. And then the fourth argument is that's the error checking. And so let's say if you put in an order number that doesn't appear in the list, what do you want Xlookup to return instead of the last name? So we could put in, let's say, not found. And whenever you put text in a formula, you have to put it in quotation marks, otherwise Excel is going to give you an error. Now, if this sounds complicated, really don't worry, because it's going to make a lot of sense as soon as we start doing it on the sheet. So let's go do that. And before we start typing in the function, let me call your attention to one thing here. And there's the name box. When I click the down arrow on the name box, you see we have a bunch of defined range names, all beginning with X. And that's just what I called it. I typed these in. So for example, X pounds, that's the range for the pounds sold. X last name, that's the range for the last name. And also very important, X order, that is the range that the order numbers are in. So I'm going to go up here to last name and let's put in the function. So I'm going to say equals XL. And as soon as I type the letters XL, it automatically suggests, oh, you're probably looking for the Xlookup function. So I'm going to hit the tab key. It puts in the function, opens the parenthesis. So the lookup value is going to be this 1001. And I put that in just to start with because that's the first one in the list. That way we won't get errors as we're typing it in. So I put that in, comma. Now, where am I going to find that order 1001? Well, it's going to be in that field that we saw called order number. Now, if I know what it is, I remember what it is, I can start typing in. So I could put in like X underscore and all that. And Excel gives me, a list of those. But maybe I don't remember what the range names are. What I could do is go to the Formulas tab on the ribbon bar, and over here where it says Use in Formula, I can grab them that way. So as we said before, that's in the X order field. That confirms it, comma. Now I want the last name. I'll do the same thing. I'll go up there and I'm going to choose X last name, comma, and what if the function does not find that order number? So in double quotes, I'm going to say not found. Close the quote, close the parenthesis, press enter, and there it is. It returns the last name of Hayashi, and we can see that's that last name there. So let's go and do this again for a variety. So I'm going to say equals Xlookup, open up the parenthesis. Again, I'm hitting on that same order number, comma, where do I find it? Using formula, and that's in the X order field, comma. Now I want the variety, so I'm going to go up there, again using formula, put in X variety, comma, and once again, if not found, I'll do that in double quotes, enter, and it returns the variety. And yes, indeed, I can see the variety is Ethiopia. Now let's make this a little easier for the next two items. We want to find the pounds, we want to find the sale. Well, this is not something that we could autofill, because right now if we autofill it, the only thing that's going to change is that order number, and that's not going to be right. But here's a little tip for you. Instead of just clicking that cell, I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to select the formula inside it, copy the clipboard, and escape out. Or instead of going there, I could select inside the formula bar, copy the clipboard, I'll just press Control-C and escape out. Now for pounds, I'm going to double click and paste, press Control-V. And I'm doing it this way, I'm copying and pasting the actual formula from inside the cell or from the formula bar, rather than copying and pasting the actual cell, because that way I know there won't be any kind of weird adjustments. So now all I really have to do is this X variety. I can remove that and put in X pounds and enter, and the same thing for sale. Double click, paste, and again I'm going to remove X variety and I'm going to replace it with X sale and enter. And now I can see, yep, it's 5 pounds and it's $40. Now here's the whole point of doing this. I'm going to click up on that order number there on the top of that little table, and now I can put in other order numbers and it's going to return all that info. So let's say if I put in maybe 1020, I'll press Control Enter, it tells me everything about order number 1020. If I put in order number 1031, Control Enter, and it puts that in. And so as long as I put in an order number that's in that list, the Xlookup functions are going to give me the info. But what if I put in an order number that's not in this list? So I'll type something in that doesn't exist. And now when I enter, each one tells me not found. Let me replace it with an order number that does exist. And now we're back to getting correct information. And by the way, if I had not created those range names in advance, the Xlookup function would still work, but instead of choosing those range names, I would have to start scrolling up and down through that list, and who wants to bother doing that? So the Xlookup function is a great way to extract data from a list, as though Excel is a little database, and it's much improved over the older Vlookup and Hlookup functions.